that it is Om Birla indeed who will be filing his nomination papers. We'll try and connect with, we'll try and get more details on that. But yes, so Akhilesh Yadav there saying clearly that the Deputy Speaker should be given to them, the chair of the Deputy Speaker should be given to them. The opposition, Sunil, is more or less clear that the longest serving MP, which is Mr. K. Suresh, should be the Deputy Speaker. But you were making a point about Mr. Om Birla's, journey or his tenure as the Speaker. Please go ahead.
Well, I think it's going to be important if Mr. Om Birla today, we have to congratulate him if he gets the second term, because that's a very rare sight. A constitutional post being given, becoming speaker again is rare. So he definitely needs to be congratulated on it. In the light of, as I said, the Supreme Court judgment, the role of the speaker plays a critical role. We've seen in the Maharashtra Assembly and various other assemblies the decision under the anti-defection law. Suppose the BJP attempts or any other party attempts to break a regional party and then you go under the anti-defection law, it can take months, if not years, for it to be finally settled. And in between, you will be able to get that majority or whatever you want to do. And that we've seen in various, assemblies in the last 5 years. And that's the reason for why the role of the speaker is extremely critical. That is why the opposition today is insisting that if you are really talking about cooperation, we want the deputy speaker. That is something that is critical, that is enshrined in the constitution. Article 95 makes it very clear, and for no reason given by the government, no explanation given in the 17th Lok Sabha, nobody has been able to explain why there wasn't a deputy speaker.
And if elected, Mr. Om Birla will actually equal the record of Congress's Balram Jharkhar, who was elected as the Speaker twice and was in fact in the chair from 1980 to 1989. We also have Aishwarya Jain with us. Sunil, please continue to be with us. Your perspective is of great value for us. So Aishwarya, what are you seeing right now? In another 5 to 10 minutes is when we can expect that nomination paper to be filed in attendance of the complete NDA.
Well, certainly what we are getting to understand over here and what the leaders have suggested till now, that the name had already been decided by the NDA. It is Rajnath Singh who had consulted with different of the NDA alliance partners, and finally the final decision has taken in some time from now, because 12 noon is the deadline when the name has to be out. But we spoke to the Congress and the DMK and other opposition parties as well. They were clearly stating that they are adamant of having the deputy speaker position, as is mentioned by Mr. Rahul Gandhi as well inside the parliament, that deputy speaker position should be given to the opposition, as the convention suggests as well. But why the NDA is hesitating to put out name in open when there were phone calls that were made yesterday to the opposition parties by Rajnath Singh? It is him who should tell the name out in open to them, and also to assure them that yes, the deputy speaker position will be given. But if not, what will be the strategy of the opposition? Whether they will also nominate someone for the speaker's post is still something remains to be seen, because several DMK leaders had pointed it out that if the deputy speaker position is not being given to them, then certainly it is going to be the elections. And the wait and watch policy is something that they have adopted till 11 or 11:30. Soon we will get to know what will be the name. Of course, Om Birla's name, as we were speaking, is doing rounds for the reterm of him as far as the speaker position is concerned. And the opposition parties have assured the government that there will be no contest if they give them a position of the deputy speaker. But if not, then certainly it's going to be an interesting day today inside the parliament as well. A fresh tussle, a fresh face-off that can be witnessed.
Yes, so the stage is set for Om Birla's renomination, as he will be filing his nomination papers shortly. The NDA has the numbers, but because of the role of the speaker, which is very, very crucial in democracy and a parliamentary democracy in particular, Sunil, we cannot expect a speaker who will not have the support of the opposition. In the past, perhaps in the 16th or the 17th Lok Sabha, the NDA could have managed to have, a speaker who was appearing to be partisan to the opposition benches. But this time around, it will be far tough. But Sunil, talking about the history, since 1946, not once have we seen an election to the Speaker's chair. And it's unlikely even today.
That's right. There won't be an election. I've been speaking to most of the India Alliance bloc leaders. They don't want an election, but they're adamant that the deputy speaker's post must be given to the opposition, to the India bloc. That has been the healthy convention. That has been the practice. You talk about the 16th Lok Sabha. Who was it in the 16th Lok Sabha, the deputy speaker? M. Thambidurai. He was from the AIADMK. Because the Congress didn't have the numbers, they decided to back at that stage and they didn't want an election. Mr. M. Thambidurai from the AIADMK was given the opportunity to be the deputy speaker. You go back to the 15th, you go back to the 14th, and I can go back to every possible Lok Sabha. The convention has always been, especially during the coalition era, that you must have a deputy speaker either from the allies or from the opposition bloc. The convention has always been, when the numbers in a coalition like it is today, it is always the opposition, because the house has to be run by all parties. It cannot be my way or the highway. I think that's the most important. What we witnessed in the 17th Lok Sabha was my way or the highway, and that is why we saw a record 115 members of parliament being suspended. That has gone down in the history as the highest ever. And if you take the Rajya Sabha included, that becomes 160, 170. This happened during the Bofors crisis when members of opposition boycotted in advance. In the 16th Lok Sabha, I said there were around 81. So whether Mr. Om Birla will be a changed man, will he stop suspending, what will be the issues that are there? These are huge concerns that the opposition had, because they don't want to be taken for granted. And the first test was on the pro-tem speaker. And when you saw members of the panel appointed by the president refusing to take oath of office to make their protest loud and clear, that they are not happy with healthy traditions and conventions not being followed. Yes, Mr. Om Birla will equal the record of Mr. Balram Jakar as the speaker. But having said that, there is definitely going to be a lot of questions on his conduct in the next few days and months and years. And as I said, with the Supreme Court's decision in terms of the role of the speaker, he plays a critical role, especially in the anti-defection system.
Yes. And Sunil, it's a tightrope walk for a speaker, and particularly in a Lok Sabha of this nature. But Aishwarya, continue to be with us. My question is, if the deputy speaker's position has not been offered, and that communication perhaps will happen a little later in the day, then what option can the opposition really have? Because by 12 noon, which is another in 40 minutes, that nomination of the speaker would end. Aishwarya.
Well, certainly the opposition bloc is still waiting, and they have stated that they wanted the government to give a reply to them as far as the conversations are concerned that are out and open. And senior leaders like Rahul Gandhi had already stated that they were waiting for Rajnath Singh to call back again to Mallikarjun Kharge to ensure that there should be a deputy speaker post that should be given to the opposition, be it DMK, be it TMC. The name will be something that will be discussed, but of course the assurance should be given that the deputy speaker post should be given. If not, then certainly the the attack that was mounted by the opposition in terms of the pro tem speaker, that will again be mounted by the opposition parties. Of course, the government have decided that it would be Om Birla, but first they want an assurance on the deputy speaker's post as well. We have asked several of the opposition leaders that what will happen if the deputy speaker position will not be given to the India bloc. They had been tight-lipped on that, certainly saying that let's wait. We'll not comment on what the strategy would be, but of course the leader of the opposition parties will unite together and will decide on what action needs to be taken or what sort of protest that needs to be done. Again, they have stated that the government on their part has been saying that there should be conversations, consultations with the opposition parties. A strategic move should be adopted as far as the opposition parties are concerned. There should be a constructive opposition. That's what also Prime Minister mentioned. But when there is no conversation with the opposition parties, with the treasury benches, then how would this constructive opposition would be in the 18th Lok Sabha? Certainly that's the question, because the numbers plays a huge role in this Lok Sabha. It is not something like the 17th Lok Sabha or the 16th Lok Sabha where the NDA had the full majority, but this is a coalition government this time, and therefore the reason perhaps the pressure would be always on the treasury benches as to whether if there is some tussle or there is some breakaway point between the opposition and the government, then it would be very difficult for the parliament to function. But as requested by the government and the leaders from the treasury benches, that there should be a constructive opposition. The government just want them to have conversation to make it clear out in open that this is the position that we are giving, and then let's function smoothly for the upcoming days of the parliament.